Alexis AV Talk. Let's talk about workforce development. Alexis AV Rock. You're invited to the #1 event with Alexis Labroy.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another Alexis AV Talk. It's been a little while, and we had to go through some things, and we had to get through InfoComm, and we're really happy to be able to be here with our guest today. I am going to have everybody introduce themselves, and we're going to be talking about the AVIXA Foundation today, and we're going to be talking to a couple of award winners from the scholarships from 2021. So Joseph, can you please start? And I want to have you introduce yourself.
Hi, Alexis. So happy to be here. Thank you for having me. Great to see some familiar faces back from InfoComm all together again. Hi, everybody. My name is Joseph Valerio. I work for AVIXA, the trade association, primarily as their program director of member engagement, dealing with all the great industry companies out there and helping them do better business together with their clients. But I also wear another hat, and why I'm here today is helping manage and administrate our AVIXA's Foundation, our 501c3 nonprofit. It's an organization operated on the public on the behalf of the public good by AVIXA. So I kind of help manage that program, all our workforce development initiatives around the world, ultimately trying to provide access to skills education, help build career pathways, and provide as many valuable hands-on experiences to inspire folks like we have on the call to join as next generation leaders in the industry.
Great. Thank you, Joseph. AJ, let's hear from you. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm AJ. I am the Michael Vergauwen Scholarship winner, and I simply just love doing AV, and I've been working at a tech company with my boss, who's actually in the call, for the past 2 years now, and I'm a programmer, integrator, sound technician, all these random, not random, but different occupations, because I do a lot of different things with this job, and I just have a really strong passion for audio. I love mixing. I love being behind in the attics. I love being on the stage, setting up all the microphones, all these little different things I love doing, and that is me, and I am AJ.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Irene, let's go to you. Can you tell us about yourself, please?
Yep. Hi, everybody. I'm Irene. I am the recipient of the Elevate Scholarship. That was a little easier to say. And right now I am attending Towson University. I am majoring in electronic media and film. And I'm really just looking forward to getting around in AV, seeing what I like, because it is so broad. And that's just one thing that I like about it. You know, you get to be creative, but you also get to move around and do different things.
All right, Chet, let's go over to you. Can you introduce yourself and tell us about your organization?
Sure. My name is Chet Neal. I'm with Reliance AV. I've been in integrated audiovisual for the last 20 years, and about 2.5 years ago, opened this company, and with a focus on more on bigger venues with churches and auditoriums and theaters, and it's been going very well. And at the same time, I also volunteer mentoring tech theater at Lake Brantley High School, and that's where I met AJ. And she showed some interest as a freshman in doing audio, and we started working together and working some shows. And she had a passion for the stage and tech, and she somehow managed to do a little bit of both, but then kind of concentrated more on audio. And it's been a great previous 4 years. And when I opened this company, she was there at the ribbon cutting ceremony to be a part of Reliance AV.
Great. I love it. I love it. This is what we're passionate about. This is what we're going to talk about today is, you know, how do we find young people? How do we find new people? And as I always say, to deliberately bring them into our industry, right? Not just what you hear so many of us say that we kind of fell into it, but how do we deliberately bring people into the industry, right? So Joseph, I'm so excited to have you on the podcast, because we have worked together on these things so many times,
Yeah.
and had so many experiences talking to groups, and I really wanted to just have you talk more about the foundation's focus, and not only here in the United States, but also globally. What is the foundation's focus for this type of work, for workforce development all over the world?
I'm so happy you brought that up, Alexis. We have known each other a long time, and I love all the things we've been able to do together, because it helps bring community together, but it also helps bring our industry together in ways that are very important to the businesses like Chet's. And I love also that you use the word deliberate, because AVIXA's Foundation, again, being a nonprofit and sort of a workforce development arm of the global trade organization, has all those resources at its service. But it also needs to be built on those pillars of having deliberate means of bringing people in. So many of the things we've done together in communities, but also sort of on purpose with its resources around the world, kind of start with having that deliberate set of pillars. And the first being building talent pathways through awareness and partnerships, like some of the community organizations with whom we've partnered together, to show that AV is a viable career path for a lot of different types of people, and really no matter one's background. And I think the success comes also there from facilitating that sort of talent acquisition by employers like Chet's. And so by him going into the community and actually meeting AJ, seeing something in her that was really a spark of interest to her, and really sticking with that, giving her that sort of talent development, which would kind of be a third pillar. He's really done a great example for the industry to follow, and really ending up with that sort of talent management on that fourth pillar, because now he's invited her into the company. He started with an internship and sort of that work experience, and now she's a full-fledged AV hero, I would call her. So, having that experience and having that example to show the world is really what the foundation is trying to achieve, using AVIXA's association resources around the globe, our staff, our marketing, and all the great things that we can do, are really something that we're trying to do deliberately, to use your word again.
Great, I love it. I think that the more people that we have in this type of work, in this that are passionate about bringing people into our community and showing them a pathway and creating opportunities for them, I think the better we'll be. You just hear so many people saying that there aren't enough people, to be able to do the different jobs, and I just beg to differ. I know that they're out there. We just have to find them, and we have to look in some different places from where we normally look to find those folks.
And I think it's about making it easy, Alexis, for them to see themselves in the industry too.
Mm-hmm.
Both knowing that one doesn't necessarily have to attend a formal education program to be a great AV professional, as you and I can attest in some ways, but also that you can have a great career doing this. So no matter your age, no matter your background, and certainly no matter where you come from or who you are, that AV really is the place to be. And that's kind of the message that any employer can share, any peer of another person can share, and show them that the skills that we all typically have, whether they're hobbies in music, or if it's behind the scenes in the tech crew at the show that they're putting on at the school play, or even just someone working in their house of worship. Those are all ways that we can show that those skills are transferable to many of the careers that we offer. So I think that's also phase one, is showing them that it's something that everybody can do, no matter where they're from.
Mm-hmm. Great, understood. Irene, I wanted to ask you a little bit more about yourself, and just winning the scholarship last year and attending InfoComm this year. Just wanted to get some of your thoughts on what you thought about the show, and what are some of your observations so far as a new person in our industry, kind of seeing the show for the first time.
Yeah, I thought the show was great. Like there was just a lot going on. And most of it was like unfamiliar to me because I'm coming from the music side of things. So I'm just looking at like enterprise AV stuff and I'm I was just like freaked out and I was like, what is going on? But I got to walk around with Chet and AJ, and Chet was like really explaining a lot of different things and how they integrate with AV. So I thought it was like really interesting for my first time. Like I got to look at something in an entirely different way.
Great. Thank you. AJ, what about you? What were your thoughts on the show, and what did you see that was really cool or interesting that you brought back home with you?
That I brought back home with me.
Oh.
I took cables.
Okay.
No, but the show was super cool. I should have brought different shoes because I made the decision to wear heels, and that was a bad decision, especially on the carpet. But for the most part, it was super cool. And like I'm the one to get distracted by all the little pretty lights. So I was getting distracted by all of the big lights and the cool AV stuff they had there. And it was really interesting to see more than just like what I'm used to, and to really branch out and see all the other like sides of AV, because it's like there's so much, it's like you can't fit it in a box. So it was super cool and I had a lot of fun, and these are definitely cute, and they
They do a lot.
Yeah, more importantly, she knows probably what they do, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
They're cute. They're decorated. There's like flowers for AV people. Here, I got you kids.
Exactly. Chet, I wanted to go over to you and just ask you more about, how you got started with working with the school, and what drove you to do that? Was it you needed a person, or you just knew that they had that they needed help, or what was it that drove you over to the school to try to find some talent and to mentor?
Oh, well, my daughter was going to get into drama, and we went to see a show at her high school when she was a freshman, and we saw the fall production of Spelling Bee, and we had a lot of technical errors, technical problems with their microphones and their lighting and whatnot. And so I approached the drama teacher after the production, and I always had a passion for live events and theater, and asked if I could be involved. And come to find out that the school had a budget for a drama teacher, but not a technical person, not a technical resource. So I gladly jumped at the opportunity to get involved and help bring their technology up to date or just implemented properly. And at the same time, my daughter decided to do chorus instead of drama. So I said, well, I'm already kind of committed, and I'm already kind of interested in seeing this through. Well, shoot, that was 10 years ago, and they've both daughters have long since graduated, and now I've been involved. And AJ, I met, was probably the fourth person I mentored in audio, in-depth audio, and then we've had some lighting people. Another intern of mine is passionate about lighting, and discovered her when she was a sophomore, and she now just graduated. And she, so it's, I think it's fascinating to watch kids get involved. And what I really think is interesting is if you open the door to the students and let them see for themselves that, oh, there's this side of it. There's not just a parent or a responsible adult over here doing it themselves. Once they open the door and let kids see it, they gravitate towards it, and it's amazing how they soak it up, and they're programming the lights and they're running the sound. So it's really neat to see and watch the wheels turn, and it just clicks with them. So it's been really, really satisfying and really enjoyable.
That's great. That's great. I think that does make a difference. You know, when you're exposed to something that you didn't even know was a career field, or you're doing something that's fun to do, and then you realize, oh wait, I can make this my work. I can have a career doing this. Is really surprising, I think, to people when they realize that.
I think so too. And it kind of made a case for having that foundation and the good tools to start with, because with AJ and Ashley that's interested in lighting, we finally got the equipment at the school that let us dive right in, and we didn't have to worry about putting band-aids on everything just to get through the next production. We can actually take a good system and implement it towards a production, and you can keep learning more about what we're doing and why we're doing it.
Yeah.
And then take it further. So AJ and Ashley both, because of that, were able to do more than any other student previously in their fields. So.
Great. Thank you. AJ, I wanted to go back to you and ask you another question about your career and about audio. And what is it that you love about audio? What is it that you think you'll want to do going further down the road?
So like when I was, I say as a kid, even though I'm still like a kid, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and I wanted to like act. So I was going to go and be an actor. And then that didn't work out because my teacher said I had to go and do audio for the show to even get the points to become an actor, yada, yada, yada. So I fell in love with audio by accident, trying to go on a path that wasn't even related to audio to begin with. Is but isn't. Anyways, so what I love about audio is the ability that I have, basically the power to like manipulate things and watch them come to life. Like when I'm mixing for a show, I'm the one who's, you know, in charge of that. Like it's just exciting to see that like I have the power to make something sound really, really good, and then see it come together is just so like exciting. And when other people like it and they're like, oh, it sounds good, or like you changed our lives, like it's empowering knowing that like I, one small little person, created such a big impact, especially when I'm mixing for like live shows and it's like an audience of like 200, 300 people. They're all listening to that show. It's like insane pressure on me, but I love that insane pressure. And then same for when we're like, when I do my integrated side of audio and I'm actually installing like the wireless rack and I'm running all the cables, it's satisfying to like see all my cables done nicely, terminate them, and actually have things work. And then it all play nice together as opposed to it going, you know, and not working.
Right.
But that's just what I love about audio, is the ability that it's like in our control, and it's just super cool. Like you can just, there's so much you can do with audio, and it's just, yeah, I could go on forever.
No, that's great. I can hear the passion. I can see it. I love it.
Yes.
Irene, what about you? Like what is something that you're looking forward to doing when you're, you know, working full time? What's something that you're really excited about that you want to focus on?
I'm mostly excited about going back to school and learning how to like score films, because I think AJ made a really good point about audio, or like audio visual being something that you can manipulate. I think there's like this sense of agency that you have when you're able to tell a story in, you know, a technical way. Like you're actually on the mixer, you're making the sound adjustments, you're making it like perfect. And I always think about how the world would look and sound without music and lights. You know, it would just like, it would be a weird world. So
Mhm.
like those little things are so important, and for the people that are doing it, it makes us feel like we're in control somehow.
The music gives you a feeling
Hmm.
in a film or on a TV show. The music, the audio, the track, it helps with the feeling that you're supposed to feel when you see that scene.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, got it. Chet, what would you say to other business owners who are, looking for people or how to get started working with you started with working with the school because of your daughter, but what would you say to some other organizations about finding ways to talk to them about what you do?
I think it's a huge benefit to businesses to seek out young talent like this. I've also recently started talking with Orange Technical College here in town for those students that are going into computers and networking, and come to discover that they are fostering a program for integrated AV more on the residential side. But we've been talking about tailoring some things for more of the commercial side, and they're doing structuring cabling and they're doing terminations. And so it's, if businesses kind of seek out the educational opportunities that are out there and help promote and foster that, they'll totally appreciate having a pool of talent that are ready to enter the industry and hit the ground running.
Got it.
It's so hard to find people in our industry. I remember at my other company, as we were growing and we got up to 26 people, finding technicians was the second hardest part of growing your team. Salespeople were the first, but that's an entirely different conversation. Technicians were the second hardest, finding those people to go out and do integrated AV and understand it and have a passion for it, keep skin in the game with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's difficult all over. Joseph, can you talk more about that too from your point of view? What resources does AVIXA Foundation have for someone who is looking to mentor a student or to work with a student in a certain area? What resources are available, and what should people do to go through the foundation?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, asking that question that Chet posed is a great way to get started, and even in conversation with us, or in particular with someone locally, like he said. I think the first step is, before even working with AVIXA or its foundation, frankly, is to, as one looks in their community as an employer, there's probably two places to look. We know, of course, as we've talked here, that many people join the industry, and many people we know as peers, that without a pathway sort of directly through school. These are two fine folks who have actually come through a program, albeit maybe indirectly. And so since there's not many true AV paths from schools around the country, there may be a tangential program like Chet's found with an IT program or a structured cable program. So don't be afraid to go into your backyard and find some of those schools and help be an industry advisor and a resource for those, which selfishly helps make those employers build their own talent pipelines, right? And you could actually start hiring, just as Chet has, right out of the school in your backyard. And the second I wouldn't overlook is also something that's close to our heart, Alexis, is the nonprofit community organization as well. There are many of these across the United States and across the globe, NGOs alike, that contribute to building talents into workforce that, again, may not directly be related. While the foundation is very proud to have relationships and partner with groups like Diverse Media Institute in Minnesota, Invent You right here in DC, the Loop Lab in Boston, and in New Futures locally, they're all not necessarily AV pathways from a school, but they are community organizations dedicated to helping underrepresented communities build better career pathways. And it's a direct correlation to our industry because of the availability of those jobs, but also because of those transferable skills they're already teaching them. Then if that's not even enough for you and we can help you make those connections, we'll happily do that. But we offer a number of resources through the foundation, starting with We have internship guides that even help you get started there to help kind of understand what that might be like if a company and an employer doesn't want to take a big leap right away, just to kind of test the waters and have, great people like AJ and Irene kind of just on staff temporarily with that school locally. We also offer on the website that we'll share in the information that you'll provide, Alexis, that we have a workforce development guide actually for companies that we developed with industry advisors across the globe that help outline how to get started on an internship. What does it mean to have a paid or non-paid internship? Where do I go to talk to someone locally at a school, whether that's a guidance counselor or someone that I don't really know where to get started? So we have many of those resources through AVIXA Foundation, certainly.
Perfect, perfect. We're going to wrap up. I wanted to thank you all for being here, for talking with us. And I wanted to also make sure, Joseph, that I ask you about the scholarships that are open still today for 2022 from the foundation.
Yes, ready and willing and accepting applications through that 31st of July. We have, of course, 2 folks on the call who've won it, and they can speak to their experience and how it's benefited their career, Alexis. But we have 3 current offerings that are out there for people to sign up for and apply. The first is the Elevate Scholarship, which is primarily focused on helping women and people who identify as women to help that gender equality in our industry and really support that group. The second is the one that AJ won, the Michael Vergauwen Scholarship. It is in honor of that man who was a big proponent of education. He was a board member at AVIXA. And so in many ways that represents his legacy, and that's open to anyone with that passion, just like AJ has. And on the last one, which is newer, but equally worth promoting, is our Mosaic Scholarship. And that is really geared towards helping underrepresented communities in our industry become more visible and help them achieve that career success. So that could be any sort of diversity that you can think of. We want to help that be more represented in AV. And so those 3 scholarships are on offer this year through the end of July. Best way to find that application, whether you share that with someone in the youth that you know or someone at your company who might be back at school, that's avixa.org/scholarships. So it's pretty easy to remember that.
Great, 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 great. All right. Well, I want to thank you all again, and I appreciate you making time, and we have scheduled and rescheduled this meeting. So I appreciate you very much. I want to say that publicly. It's been great to talk with you all. And Irene and AJ, we are going to be keeping up with you too, of course, and following your trajectory. And if anyone would like to share how anyone can reach them, will you please share that as well? And then I can also add a link to your LinkedIn or Twitter or whatever you prefer in the podcast notes. Irene, how can folks find you?
You can find me on LinkedIn at Irene Ataifo, just my first and my last name.
Great, great. AJ, what about you?
I'm big on the Instagram. You can find me at AJ from Sports on Instagram.
Got it. All right. Chet, how about you?
I'm on LinkedIn and Facebook. LinkedIn is probably the best way, at Chet Neal.
Got it. All right. And Joseph?
Yeah, any direct correspondence about everything, the great things we talked about today, Alexis, easy to email the foundation and I'll pick up the phone there. It's foundation@avixa.org, or again, you can find me on LinkedIn.
Great, thank you. And then of course you can find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, yes, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. And I'm Alexis Labroi, Labroi at the end. And thank you again so much for being here. And we are going to be following you too and making sure that, you're doing great things and supporting you and rooting for you all the way.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Great. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Greg, thanks,
we got
Alexis.
together.
Alexis AV Talk. Let's talk about workforce development. Alexis AV Rock. You're invited to the #1 event with Alexis Love.